One. Do that, I guess. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the McDoncast. Why are we knowing that?
I quit the show.
Why? All right, he's quitting the show. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the McDoncast. Tucker, oh, there he goes.
After a long and deep evaluation of my mental health,
you decided to come back.
I've decided to return to the show.
Wow, thank you so much for your gracious return. Alrighty, let's give you guys a brief rundown of the absolutely amazing show we have lined up for you guys this week. Also, we have the flippy camera. It's back. It's really hard to set it up this way, and I don't know how long this is gonna last, but that we're doing it today, so that's fun. We got Kevin Feige, we got Ryan Johnson, we got Legendary Pictures or Entertainment or whatever they call themselves. We got Secret Wars, we got the House of the Dragon, we got Nicole Brown Simpson, we got all kinds of
That's not part of the news.
We got all kinds of stuff. I hope you guys are hyped because we got stuff to talk
Legal
about.
Disclaimer.
Oh, I'm also here, by the way.
Oh yeah, Max is here too. He just doesn't have a camera.
Max is all audio now.
Guy now.
And Patrick's gone.
Patrick's busy and says that he'll come eventually, but that is false.
So our new lineup is me and Sam on camera.
Max
as producer. And Patrick won't answer the phone. So this is the situation we're in, and it won't change.
And if the camera switching is off, yell at Max on Discord.
Send Max angry tweets.
Multitasking.
He is multitasking. What are you even doing? Oh, okay.
Why do you have to do that every time?
Why the docket's on the monitor? But it's the same thing.
Yeah, but I have my laptop out for already, so.
Okay, anyways, starting things right out. Do we start with number 5 or number 1?
Damn, you dumb.
Last time we started with 5, but I don't know.
You always start with 5. You count down to your.
Why do we count down? We could count up.
Because you gotta lure people in. They come and they stick through the boring crap, and then the one interesting thing at the end.
Well, then we've got to tell them what the interesting thing at the end is. Otherwise, they won't stay.
Well, that's supposed to be in the pre-show where you go, "Hey, we're talking about this."
There's no pre-show. This is a podcast.
No, you're supposed to talk about.
This is not NFL 30 for 30, whatever their stupid show is called.
That's not what 30 for 30 is. And 2,
what is 30 for 30? Why are there so many?
I don't really know what 30 for 30. I don't know what 30 for 30
I know
even
it's
means.
a sports show, and I know it's on literally 24/7 every single time you go to Sports Clips, but I have absolutely no idea what it is they're ever talking about.
When I say I don't know what 30 for 30 is, I mean, like, I don't know what it's referring, like the number.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
I don't know what the show is either. I'm not pretending like I know.
I know
what
it's
either of them
2 old white dudes and 1 old black dude and 1 younger Asian lady, and they talk about sports.
Sure they do.
I think they talk about... I don't even know. Anyway, starting things off, Legendary Entertainment is departing from Warner Brothers. Now, they are notable for a few big things. Most recently, the Dune movie was one of their big movies.
Yeah, they've worked with Warner Brothers for a while now. They've been a partner on the MonsterVerse stuff, so all the most recent Godzilla and Kong movies, and they've also been involved with both Dune Parts 1 and 2. 2, of course, is filming right now. So they're looking into moving on from the studio. They're negotiating with Sony and Paramount about doing deals with possibly one of those studios. They have not said exactly the specific reason why they're choosing to move on.
I think they're moving on because of the merger.
I think they're moving on based on the last 2 years of Warner Brothers business decisions, and none of them have made them happy.
Okay. We have the butchering of DC, just the straight up.
Well, they don't really care about that.
Well, I know, but it doesn't look good for your franchise if the other franchise they have are crappy. There was the HBO Max debacle where all the movies went day and date, specifically Dune.
I think that was
a huge one.
That was really the thing that set them off.
Yeah, and of course now, Dune 2 is coming out soon.
They were one of the studios that was really upset about the theatrical and day HBO Max 2021 thing. They had made both Godzilla vs. Kong and Dune that year. And they were supposed to get a percentage cut of the box office on both. And that was interfered with by them being day and day. And they never really worked that out. Warner Brothers' solution was just to pay them a bunch of cash up front and then just kind of leave it alone. That's how they.
Yeah, just hope they forget about
That's
it.
That's how they made a bunch of the filmmakers that you're happy was just to handed them a bag of cash.
That sounds like a good strategy to me.
Mm-hmm. So it looks to me like Dune Part 2 will probably be the last thing they produce with them, at least for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't think they own any of the IPs that they've been producing with them.
No, I think they're just a production company.
I don't think they own like the MonsterVerse IP or anything like that. That one they might own that one, but I don't think they own the rights to the film rights to Dune. Let me see. So they're doing so.
Well, Godzilla's owned by Arakawa, right? Are they licensing that?
I think the Godzilla rights are weird because like there's like 3 different studios that are.
Because there's the Warner Bros. Godzilla movies.
Yeah,
but the original one is the Japanese one.
Yeah, and that's Japan is having like
they have their own Godzilla.
They have their own Godzilla movies coming out. So I don't really know how that works. And to be fair, they haven't been exclusively with Warner Brothers. They have just been a big partner for them.
Yeah.
Most recently, they worked with what used to be Fox Searchlight, but now it's just Searchlight for Fresh, Texas Chainsaw. They did that for Netflix. They've been working with Universal a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like the Paramount Sony thing is just to breach out. They worked with Warner Brothers a lot in their early years.
Yeah.
But they started to branch out around 2014. That's when they were involved in Dracula Untold, Sam.
Wow, everyone remembers that movie and definitely didn't unwatch it when it came out.
They were involved in Jurassic World and the Warcraft film.
Though the Warcraft movie.
And the Logan Paul film, The Thinning.
The Thinning. And The Thinning 2 also, or just The Thinning?
I watched that movie.
Just
The Thinning 1 or 2?
They were involved in just the first one.
No.
Then why did you watch it?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, isn't it free now?
I think they made all
Are they
that
both
stuff
free now?
No, I didn't watch it.
They're all free with I think all that stuff is free with ads now.
Yeah. Except the first season of Cobra Kai, which is now on Netflix.
Yeah, that's
all
because
right.
it got purchased.
What's next?
Okay.
There's not a whole lot to talk about with that one.
Oh, if you have any thoughts on any of these, you can leave a comment below.
Yeah, you can comment to us, and we'll read them. Maybe. I think they're good enough. We'll read them next.
I think the real story here is just that you're starting to see the impact of Warner Brothers nuking all of their talent relationships. This was another bigger story this week.
This is just another casualty of Warner Brothers.
Christopher Nolan, obviously, that was the big one a few years ago when he left to go with work with Universal. But like, you're looking at who they've angered just by either deleting content or the day-and-day releases or cutting $3 billion worth of content from HBO Max's slate. We're talking like the Batgirl directors, J.G. Quintel, who created Close Enough, all of the Infinity Train people.
They will never work with
the legendary entertainment studio. Any of the movies that came out in 2021 that didn't perform well, that they blame on the day-and-day thing. Just there's an infinite list of people they've angered.
Yeah. Warner Brothers might... I don't think they're going to go the way of Fox soon, but I don't necessarily have a lot of faith.
They can't. I mean, they've already been bought and sold twice in the last 5 years. Well, yeah, technically
now they can't, because now they're owned by... I guess they already went the way of Fox.
I guess
so this is them going the way of Fox.
This is kind of them going the way of Fox.
Yeah, they're gone now, basically.
I mean, Discovery didn't technically buy them, but like...
Yeah, just like Disney didn't technically buy Fox. They merged.
No, but
except for Disney doesn't use any of their branding and definitely just owns them now and got rid of all their
Disney pretty much bought Fox. Like, like there was never the idea that like any sort of Fox leadership was going to stay on. But like Warner Brothers and Discovery literally merged together. And then just everyone who worked at Warner Brothers was fired and replaced with the Discovery people. So they basically own Warner Brothers.
Yeah, there's you can say it different ways. It's
technically AT&T is still somewhat in charge.
How?
Because they own like 80% of the company's shares or something like that. Because the AT&T did own Warner Brothers and then realized that they actually didn't want to make entertainment content.
Because they're a cell phone service provider?
Yeah, well, they were like, yeah, let's buy Warner Brothers. And then they spent billions and billions of dollars.
For context, that's why if you have certain AT&T plans, they come with HBO Max. That's why that was a thing.
They spent billions and billions of dollars got into a lot of debt,
Mm-hmm.
and then realized this was probably a bad idea. Can we give this debt to someone else and then leave? And that's what they did.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. All right. Is there anything else to talk about with the Warner Brothers?
I don't think so,
All
Sam.
right. Moving
on to number 4.
right along. So this one is it's not unexpected. It's just kind of dumb. Ryan Johnson did an interview with, I think, Variety, Vanity Fair.
He's been starting to promote
doing some
Knives Out
interviews
2.
for something. And naturally, the topic of Star Wars Episode 8, the one everyone hates the most, came up. That's its real subtitle. Just the one everyone blames for Star Wars being bad. And rightfully so. But, yeah, so he said he's more proud of that movie now than ever. Which is a weird thing to be proud of. He also gave some weird opinions on Luke's character arc.
I'm happy for him.
I'm happy he hasn't like gone into a depressive spiral and like lost
what?
all creative juice, like most people who get flamed after doing a Star Wars thing
I
do.
didn't like many of the decisions he made, but hey, he made them and he stuck with them.
That's the thing. Like, I can commend the movie when it was just episode 7 and episode 8. We didn't know what the plan initially was.
The plan being they're non-existent.
Well, the outline that J.J. Abrams, gave them when they started. We didn't know like that there was a goal in mind. So when we saw this happen, we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of crazy. Where are they going to go with this? And then episode 9 comes out. It's sort of revealed that there was a plan, and Ryan Johnson kind of ignored it because he wanted to do his own thing, which is fine if you're doing your own thing. But this isn't his own thing. This is the middle part in a 3-part series of movies, and you kind of have to do the group thing when you're making a trilogy of movies, because otherwise the story doesn't make sense.
Again, we've said it a million times.
We've talked about this
on the show, but
ad nauseum.
You know what? I'm happy that he made a choice, then got pushback for it, but he didn't immediately run it back and be like, guys, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to the fans.
Yeah, he didn't J.J. Abrams.
No, he made decisions, and not everyone liked those decisions, but he stuck with them. He had an interesting take on a lot of stuff. Yes, he subverted expectations in a lot of negative ways.
And if there's any IP that the fans absolutely hate it when you subvert what they want, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
They will crucify you for suggesting something might not be the way that they have it exactly in their headcanon.
All right. Well, he also talked about that trilogy he's supposed to make at some point.
That'll never happen.
But he said, do you think this will work, Sam?
What are you doing? No,
it won't work. I'm gonna build a Lego stand for this mic.
Okay, do it then, but not right now.
I'm Rick and Morty. He said that it's still in the works.
Mm-hmm.
He often talks with Kathleen Kennedy about it.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
It's just a matter of scheduling.
Right.
I think what's happening here is I think Kathleen Kennedy really likes Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, I think she does too.
Otherwise, she would have fired him at this point.
I also don't think they have any idea what they want to do with Star Wars movies going forward.
No. They already basically canceled that Patty Jenkins one.
Yeah.
And Taika Waititi, Thor 4 was just negatively received, so he's probably next. Again, we've said it before.
Well, but people still like his Mandalorian stuff.
That's true, but recency bias.
Yes.
You're only as good as your last thing.
We're looking at his last thing in the story that he's working on, not his last thing in a totally different story.
I think the studio is looking at the last thing he made for them, which was Thor 4.
Yeah.
But again, I think the only safe Star Wars film in development is Kevin Feige's, because he's Kevin Feige and he can do whatever he wants.
One?
He's producing one. Michael
right,
Waldron's supposed to write it.
It's like the Sandlot with Star Wars, right?
What?
Where it's like a bunch of kids or whatever?
No, that's a TV show.
Oh.
John Watts is making a TV show for Disney Plus. Kevin Feige is producing a completely unknown Star Wars project.
Mm.
But he's Kevin Feige. So if he wanted to make a movie where he pulled his pants down and ran around the office naked and release it into theaters,
what?
Disney would probably let him do it.
I wonder if they're not giving him an Old Republic story. Here's why I think they might.
I think Michael Waldron talked about what he wanted to do with it.
It is so hard to get something like that right. And every single director that they've had for Star Wars stuff so far has let fans or has made fans upset in one way or another at some point. Kevin Feige has been their absolute crowd pleaser. You know, he did a great job with the MCU and all that. I think if you were going to try something like that, that's something you give to your 5-star general, and he's Disney's 5-star general.
Yeah, I mean, he said the vague thing that literally every Star Wars filmmaker has said during this whole time period, which is he wants to do new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that could mean High Republic, New Republic, Old Republic, New Republic, whatever the next.
Is that what they're called now?
What?
The New Republic? Who's running the galaxy?
Well, there was Who's
running the galaxy post Episode 9?
The
New Republic exploded.
There was the Old Republic, right?
And that sort of.
Then there was the High Republic,
which,
and then
to be clear, is the same government. It's just a name for a different era.
Then there's the Normal Republic.
Still the same government.
Then there was the Empire.
Technically, still the same government, sort of.
So it's like Egypt.
And then there was, and then there was the New Republic, but they got
different government this time.
They got blowed up.
No more. They're gone.
And now there's.
Then it was kind of the First Order for like a week.
They were just kind of like running around villages, shoving people around.
Yeah, it was like the First Order for like a month, and then the Final Order, which the First Order apparently didn't know existed, even though it's literally all the same guys.
Also, like Kylo Ren was in charge of the First Order, and he did not seem like a guy with any sort of political aspirations or an actual plan.
He was the supreme leader of the First Order.
He just seemed like he just kind of wanted to run around and hit people and scream.
Yeah. Okay. So Kylo Ren has the best character arc of any of those characters in that series.
Yeah.
But when he was a villain, other than being cool like his grandpa, what did he actually want to do?
He wanted to reform the galaxy in his own image.
When did he never expressed that sentiment?
They all that's every villain in Star Wars.
The Emperor actively sought power. Like he actively
shoot planets.
He actively wanted to become the most powerful being in the galaxy, and that's technically because they use on Vong, but they changed that, so now it doesn't make any sense. But he's just evil and he wants power, right?
He wants to shoot big lightning.
Darth Vader wanted he wanted to bring his wife back, but then he got tricked, and then he was just sort of working for the Emperor, so he's kind of forced to do it. He wasn't really it wasn't really his thing.
He's a reluctant officer.
He's a reluctant villain. Then there's Kylo Ren, who's just like, well, Grandpa Vader was cool. I want to be cool like him. I guess I'll be a villain? Because a creepy skeleton man in a big chair told me?
He killed Snoke impulsively, right?
Yeah.
And then he took control. And then he chased the rebellion off, and then he just kind of like sat there
for a minute.
Because like he just kind of wandered around until the Emperor told him that there was a big endless fleet of Star Destroyers with Death Star guns on them.
Yeah.
And that he could take control of the galaxy. But yeah, I don't know what his political aspirations were. That was the one time where we could have used a political subplot.
Yeah.
Where we're just where at any point we explain what Kylo Ren is doing. Because the only time we see the First Order do like anything even remotely close to like controlling the galaxy is when they go to like the World War II like village planet where it's all the snow, and they're just kind of like shoving people indoors and like asking for their papers and like shooting people.
Is that when they're on with Poe Dameron's ex-girlfriend?
With helmet
purple
woman,
suit lady,
helmet woman.
Yeah, purple suit
and Babu Frick
woman and Babu Frick.
That was a good subplot.
He goes gabba gab gab gabba gab gab. Yeah, he's like a Rick and Morty side. You know how Rick and Morty have those characters and they go gabba gab gabba gab gab and then they explode.
You see that clip from Justin Roiland's game where like you have like it's the gun's alive.
Yeah, and then
there's the kid.
Like shoot the kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's doing
to the lady
doing the one voice he knows how to do.
He does that. He does the Morty voice for every single character he ever plays.
He either does the Morty voice or the Rick voice.
Yeah.
The entire game is just like the gun.
Like,
and
oh
the
man,
knife.
you shouldn't have killed that kid. Oh, you're such a bad person.
All of it's just like, no, don't do that. Don't shoot the kid.
Don't stab the
No,
kid,
no,
Morty.
don't do that."
Except from a knife this time, Morty. I'm not a gun.
The
Morty.
day
so
Justin
crazy.
Roiland figures out how to do 3 voices is the day that the universe will implode.
He's been doing the same impression of Doc Brown and Marty McFly for like
Literally for his
15
entire
years.
every character he's ever voiced is one of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if the Rian Johnson trilogy will ever actually happen. Like I have no idea. I think they're gonna wait for him to do Knives Out 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna see if he wants to do more after that. If he doesn't, and he actually wants to start working on Star Wars, I think they're gonna be like, well, let's wait a while. I think they want like a solid 10 years after The Last Jedi, just to let people cool down before they even like really start on his trilogy.
If I was Disney, I just wouldn't even. I just cancel the. I'd just be like, no.
I want to see it. I'd like to see him make
No, that's
Star
the thing.
Wars.
I think if he made his own trilogy or
Yeah.
his own series of movies, I think they'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I think they'd be awesome. But if you're Disney and you look, okay, we could pick any director on Earth. We could pick anyone.
And we can fire them immediately.
So why would you pick the one guy who everyone blames for ruining your movies? You could pick any director.
Because, well,
Any director. Name me one director who wouldn't be like, yes, I will do a Star Wars.
George Lucas,
He's not even a director. He's an editor sometimes.
Steven Spielberg.
Would probably do a Star
No,
Wars.
he said he would never do a Star Wars.
Well, but that's because he's friends with George Lucas.
He didn't even want to do episode 6.
That's a different thing. One who hasn't already
Dude,
done a Star
imagine
Wars.
if he did episode 6. That might actually been a good movie.
Episode 6 is just mid.
It's fine.
Anyway,
That's because half of it is the Star Wars, is the actual movie.
and the other half
and
is
then
just
the other,
Ewoks are
and then the
dancing
other
around.
half is like teddy bears in the woods because they had nothing for Leia and Han to do.
It was a soft pilot for that god awful Ewok.
well, because George Lucas knew like that the Luke and Vader story would be like the core,
Yeah,
and like that's the actual movie part.
but there wasn't that much left of that.
well,
part
no,
of the story to tell.
that was the whole story.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. That was the whole story, but there wasn't enough of that story left
yeah.
to fill the whole runtime.
Well, no, it was that and like
and he had some deal with the studio that he basically only got money from the toy sales or from the merchandise. He got very little money from the actual production of the movies. That's why he put the Ewoks in the movies, because he's like, I need to make minions. Ewoks.
no,
Everyone buy the Ewoks.
it was also that, but like the whole Luke story, like Leia and Han and C-3PO and R2-D2, all
They
them
were
are-
none of them were doing
they
anything.
weren't involved in that, so
Yeah.
he needed something for them to do. And he was like, I guess they can take down the shields
Mhm.
on the base. I don't know. Han's supposed to be dead at this point. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
You know what? They should have just made the rescuing Han thing take up that part.
they
of the
should have
movie.
just had Leia and Chewie and the droids be rescuing
No,
Han.
I figured it out. Okay,
Wow, Luke was.
No, I
doing
figured it all
weird
out.
stuff.
so you keep the shield thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shields are up. You can't
Yeah.
get them down. Only one pilot in
Uh-huh.
the galaxy is skilled enough to do the insert name of maneuver to get into the thing and blow up the
That's
shield.
just the Death Star. Run.
That's Han Solo. Han Solo's the only guy that
The
can do
movie would have had two
Just-
different Death Star runs.
we don't need one of them. I'm saying we
well, you
changed.
have to show the other one to show that they blowed up the Death Star.
This is different. Slightly different. Nothing in Star Wars is ever different. That's the point. Anyway, so
It opens and ends
rather
with Death Star
than
run.
spending all of our time on Ewok planet just
Mhm.
wandering around in the woods in California, we actually see them like confront Jabba from a military like we actually get to see
like a big job.
why Jabba is so powerful. Like we want to see all his dudes. We want to see a big fight.
That was that'd be too expensive.
We want to not for them at this point.
In 1982,
When they were at the peak of their thing, and Max, where are you going? Okay. Okay. Anyway, So Max left, so it's gonna be me for a minute. So I guess I'll just ramble about this for a while. Okay, so they spend more of their time getting the rebels together to go invade Tatooine and Jabba's castle, and we make that a bigger part of the movie because it was so easy for them to break Han Solo out. Princess Leia just walked in, grabbed him, and then Luke just walked in and freed both of them, and they just left.
No, because they did the whole thing in the desert with the Sarlacc pit.
Leia was able to just choke him out in a room full of his own guards. That's because
he was distracted.
And every single guard was also distracted.
They were in a fight with Luke.
Not the ones in the barge. Only the ones on that skiff were fighting Luke.
They were in chaos.
It should have been more difficult for them to break out. That should have been a bigger part of the movie. And I think if you have Luke off doing his thing with Darth Vader, and you have the rest of the crew trying to free Han Solo, I feel like they would have had a stronger motivation to do it. Because we know Han Solo. We want Han Solo back. I don't really care about the Ewok shield. That's not interesting.
I think would have been more interesting is, I think, like, instead of just like another Death Star,
there was a different threat?
No, like they were just trying to blow up like the Emperor's ship.
Or just assassinate him or something.
Yeah, like that would be like, so like while Luke is like distracting him in like the big fight with Vader, like the rebels are like infiltrating and like you have a little fun spy mission. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool too.
I don't know. Return of the Jedi is fine. Last Jedi isn't though. Yeah. Anyway, Rian Johnson, make those Knives Out films. Then we'll see if you get fired from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Based on their current track record, yes, you will.
Yeah, they fire everyone.
No one's allowed
sort of like
to
the
work
Flash
with
director. You just, if you do it, you get fired.
I cannot believe.
How many directors have they gone through now?
Oh my. Okay, let me see if I can remember this. Gareth Edwards was replaced with Tony Gilroy for Rogue One reshoots. Lord and Miller were replaced with Ron Howard for Solo. Colin Trevorrow was replaced with J.J. Abrams for Episode 9. Josh Trank was no.
So they had Seth Graham.
What are you looking at?
The list of directors that left the Flash.
I got. Hang on.
Rick.
That's the Flash. I thought I was talking about Star Wars.
No, I was talking about the Flash movie.
So like a lot.
Yeah, there was Seth Graham or Seth Graham Smith, Rick Famuyiwa.
Hey, he's cool.
John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein.
Yeah.
And then there was one other one, but it cut off the list.
No, but like Star Wars, they fired. I said this: Gareth Edwards, Lord and Miller, Josh Trank, Benioff and Weiss, Patty Jenkins, Colin Trevorrow. They're gonna fire Taika Waititi, and Rian Johnson. You're next. So they're gonna slowly wake their. I think they're aiming for 10.
But see, here's the other thing: if they haven't fired him yet, why would they fire him now?
I don't think they're firing him because they're just like not worrying about it. I think their hope is that,
like, if they were gonna drop him, they would have done it in the last like couple years since the movie came out.
I'm wondering if what they're doing is they're just hoping that Filoni and Favreau can get Star Wars in general like up and running,
the perception back,
like up and running, and then they just want to throw him in and just like while they're like excessively making it, just like throw his movies out.
Well,
also,
here's the other thing: is like the perception of Star Wars Disney Plus shows has also gone down. People did not like Boba Fett very much.
People liked Obi-Wan though.
Some people liked Obi-Wan, but everyone who liked it also was like, yeah, it was cool, but also it was kind of
dumb.
Yeah. Like, there were some cool moments, but also there were some really dumb moments.
I think they're counting on Mandalorian to float that back up. And I think Ahsoka's going to be really good, too.
And to be fair, what was the best part of Boba Fett?
Mandalorian episodes.
The 2 episodes that were just Mandalorian episodes that they just accidentally put in the wrong Google Drive folder.
Mandalorian Season 3 is a slam dunk. That's going to be good. Because also they won't...
Okay, here's the thing I'm worried about with Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah.
Because a lot more people watch Mandalorian than Boba Fett. Like, we have those numbers. We know that.
Yeah.
For the people that didn't watch Boba Fett, there were massive, like, lore reveals in those 2 Mandalorian episodes.
I guess so, but I think
that completely changed the direction of the show. I mean, we have Grogu's. Okay, imagine if you cut spoilers for Boba Fett. I guess. Imagine if you come back after you didn't watch Boba Fett. You only watched Mandalorian season 2. You come back. Grogu's back now. So what was he doing? He's got a magic. His spear's gone, and now Baby Yoda's got a magic T-shirt. When did that happen?
It's not magic. It's a special.
Mando's now banned from the Mandalorians, and he can't go there anymore. And he's got this whole different other quest that is totally unrelated to what he was doing before.
I mean,
for someone who didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, it's a totally different setup now.
But if you have Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian, it's not that hard to like. Right, quick before it comes out, just watch those 2 episodes of Boba Fett and just come back.
But not everyone even knows that that's like.
Well, they always
do because we, meticulously spend time analyzing.
I think people had a general idea, like it was in the like TV ads and stuff, and I think people
people who aren't even big Star Wars fans watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, but there's also like that recap before the new episode. They'll play whatever the clips.
Yeah, and what does everyone do when that comes on screen? You press the skip button and you ignore.
I don't know. Maybe who cares? That's not going to be that big of a problem. I don't think
I feel like some people might be.
I don't think the general public is like completely oblivious to the Boba Fett's existence.
My general point is, Boba Fett was not well received. Obi-Wan was met with a sort of lukewarm reception after having massive hype. For the reception to be lukewarm, that's not good.
Obi-Wan did perform very well.
It performed well.
I don't think it matters.
But the fan reception wasn't great.
It was really high among prequel fans.
Yeah, but. It was high, but it wasn't where everyone expected it to be.
And it had a lot of publicity. I think
everyone expected it to be way more hype than it was.
But I think performance, like in terms of viewership, I think it performed.
Yeah, viewership it performed fine, but I'm talking about
which is all they really
reception.
Care about.
It didn't perform as well as most people were expecting.
But I don't think anyone like horribly.
We have Andor coming out next. That one looks good.
That one
looks really good.
I saw a news thing.
The problem is, nobody knows who Andor is, and nobody cares.
I think if it's really good, I think word will get out, and I think people will watch it. Especially since,
I mean, that's true. No one knew who the Mandalorian
in
was.
Like in a horrible dry spell right now with everything.
Yeah, let's look real.
There's
Max
nothing.
Still isn't back. Let's look real quick and see.
What is he doing?
He said he was going to the bathroom.
That McDonald's went in and it's coming out quick.
But let's look real quick about what people are watching right now. There's She-Hulk.
You want to go to the Nielsen chart?
Sure. Yeah, pull that up.
I mean, that's going to be a month behind, but
there's well then that doesn't really help us, does it?
Well, I can look at the Netflix.
There's She-Hulk, which is being met with a meh reset. Like people are just kind of meh about it. No one seems super hyped. No one seems super disappointed. There's House of the Dragon, which some people are super hyped about that. Some people are kind of mad about that. Just depends on
House of the Dragon is doing very well.
Crazy numbers. It's going bananas in terms of viewers, but I'm talking about like reception wise. There's Harley Quinn, which is fairly well received.
It got renewed for season 4.
And it got renewed for season 4, which, given HBO's current perspective on animation, is a pretty impressive feat.
Let's see. This is the week of July 31st. Nielsen is a month behind on this. Nielsen needs to be faster.
What is the point of Nielsen?
That's how literally every show's renewal or cancellation is determined, is by Nielsen.
Yeah, but why is it a month behind? How long? Why does it take?
I don't know. It takes. They're the only one who does like actual like aggregation exactly of these stuff.
Doesn't Social Blade do this for like online content?
Social Blade
in like
does this
seconds.
Social Blade does this for like sub counts for YouTube, but they're like,
how is that different?
Because they're actually like collecting streaming minutes from every streaming service of every show being watched.
You can look at minutes watched for a YouTube channel.
But they have to go to every studio and collect all that stuff.
But why isn't there just an API they can just collect it?
And then Netflix makes their own top 10, and that is quicker. That's only 2 weeks behind.
Okay, but the Netflix top 10 is like clearly
No, like they have like actual viewership numbers for stuff. So Netflix people are watching Me Time, which is a Mark Wahlberg,
never heard of that,
Kevin Hart original movie. They're watching Look Both Ways.
No idea what that is.
Which is I'm on films. I went all of them. Or when you went TV, they have them separate. People are watching The Sandman.
That one's pretty big.
Never Have I Ever, which I think is like a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching a lot of like soap operas, like Virgin River.
Sandman is actually popping off, and we should probably be
Sandman.
watching it.
I should probably be watching. I haven't read I wanted to read the comic.
I kind of want to watch it because I know it's based. I know the comic it's based on, and that comic is super cool.
Yeah, it's like one of
my favorites in the DC universe. By the way, it's a DC Universe thing. If you didn't know that.
Yeah, it's loosely connected, but like I'm just saying, like in terms of movies and everything out right now, we're in a real dry, especially for movies.
For movies, there's nothing going on.
It's like a desert.
At least in theaters. There's no.
It was the
theatrical
worst
releases at all.
weekend at the box office in like 4 months this weekend.
What did best?
Oh, this week?
Mhm.
Nothing. Everyone. Can pull that real quick though. Let me do my quick research.
Where is Max? Max!
Don't yell at the microphone. Sam, be chill.
All right, I'm
Daily
gonna take
domestic. Oh, this is daily. I want weekend. I want weekend box office, please. Okay. So at number 1, we had The Invitation, which I believe is a Sony horror movie. Yes. So that'll probably actually make some money because that was probably not very expensive. What?
What was the thing you
The
said?
Invitation.
What is that?
That is a Sony Pictures horror.
Hey, there we go. Now you can be on camera, Tucker.
Bullet Train. It was number 2. That dropped 25%. That's been out for almost a month now.
You know things are bad when Bullet Train is.
Beast is at number 3. That's underperforming. Top Gun Maverick is at number 4.
Beast is not underperforming.
Top Gun Maverick is available to purchase on Amazon right now, and people are still going to the theater to watch Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, it's insane. Even like people in Australia like watch Top Gun. And like why if you're not American, why on earth would you be watching Top Gun?
I mean, it's good.
That would be like us watching like a Chinese military propaganda film for fun. Like that's not why would we do that?
But none of those Chinese propaganda films have Tom Cruise, baby.
But they definitely could. I guarantee you there is some Chinese propaganda film with like, Robert Downey Jr. in it or something. Surely they've gotten someone at some point.
I mean, there's Chinese propaganda in like a Robert Downey Jr. movie, but he would never do Battle for Lake Changjin Part 3 or whatever they're doing over there. But
Tom Cruise might.
He
did the Wall movie. Who did the Wall movie? Was that Mark
was Matt
Wahlberg?
Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon. They're like all the same.
The Great Wall. Yeah, where he was the only white guy in China.
Well, now that we have the switcher back, we can move on to the next topic.
All right. Sam, let's talk about Fantastic Four.
Oh boy, my favorite Marvel
I should have
group.
put this at the number 4 news. Shoot.
That would have made more sense.
It's the number 3, though. I mean, it is more important than the Ryan Johnson stuff, but that would have been...
would have been a good spot for
Would have been a good spot for Fantastic Four. So,
or Fan-4-stick, as some people know it by.
We're not talking about that movie, though. As we know, John Watts was supposed to direct the Fantastic Four movie for Marvel Studios, which has now been dated for November of next year or the year after. Is it next year that this is dated?
2024.
2020. Okay, that would make more sense.
It's either that or late 2023.
Let me look it up. It's got to be 2024 though.
It might be late 2023 actually. I think it was moved up. I think it was. Yeah, but they make these in like 15 minutes now.
Well, they put them out in 15 minutes. They're not made in 15 minutes.
Well, but I mean, like the schedule for production is much faster than you.
2020. Show me.
Not coming out 20.
Obviously. Oh, really, Sam? 2024. Okay, it's like 2 years away.
Yeah.
John Watts departed that project to go probably make some sort of movie that satisfies any sort of creative gene he has, and also not to be meddled with by the studio the entire time. AKA, he's gonna go work for Blumhouse. So they've been looking into directors to replace him, and it looks like Matt Shakman is gonna do so. He's in talks with the studio to direct the picture. If you don't know what he's done in the past, he did all of WandaVision. That was him. Okay. He's worked on some Game of Thrones episodes. He's directed like whole seasons of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which
he's not bad.
Which is where he got his start.
Yeah.
They had narrowed the decision down to 3 choices, which was him, Michael Matthews, who did the Love and Monsters movie with Dylan O'Brien.
That's a movie that I have heard about.
Carolyn, who directed Dog with Channing Tatum, which I did see.
I forgot that movie came out.
I would not have picked her, which is a good choice. I don't know, actually. I don't know if that's a he or a her. I wouldn't have picked them.
They're like together?
No, I don't. No, Reed I don't know if that's a boy or a girl.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So the directors they were picking between were Matt Shackman,
Okay.
Michael Matthews,
Mhm.
and Reed Carolyn.
And you're saying you don't know who Reed Carolyn is?
I don't know if that's a girl or a boy.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm just saying.
Gotcha.
I think it's a girl, but I don't know. But I would not have picked that person to direct it because Dog was not very good. But they went with Shackman because obviously he did WandaVision for him, so pre-existing relationship.
He's a Marvel guy. They keep the Marvel people.
Yeah,
in the
they know
Marvel
what
system.
to expect from him. Yeah, Max, you're back. You were in there for like 15 minutes, though.
Get the thing.
Pick it up, buddy.
I can't move.
Shackman's next project he was supposed to do was the next Star Trek film, which is, I believe, still dated to come out next year, although that's definitely not happening now because he's had to drop out, and also they haven't started filming, and I'm pretty sure the cast is still not on board to come back for that.
Yeah, I don't think they care anymore.
I think that will probably happen at some point, just not when at that scheduled date.
Yeah.
This is a fine pick.
He did the Marvel thing. He'll do the Marvel do. Max, gotta switch the thing.
What are you doing over there?
Hey, he's doing stuff.
Okay. Why don't you pay attention? Do that stuff.
Because you know how boring it is?
Well, then give it back to me and I'll do it.
We set all this up for you, and you just got bored after 5 seconds.
Listen to you guys talk.
Well, that's why we asked if you wanted a camera, if you wanted to be in it, and you said no. You can talk, though. You have mouth. And do words. All right, anyway. Yeah, it's a fine pick. That's he'll do Marvel. Marvel do Marvel. Marvel always be doing Marvel. They know how to do Marvel over there. Marvel.
Yeah, fine, whatever. Fantastic. Are you excited about this?
No, I've never been. I've never in my life been excited about a Fantastic Four anything ever. I think the Fantastic Four are the dumbest superhero team that has ever been made.
Sam.
The only notable thing about them is that they were the first superhero team.
That's Stan Lee's baby right
there. But they are the worst superhero team. Let's compare them to every other superhero team. Who's cooler? The Fantastic Four or the X-Men?
X-Men.
Fantastic Four or Avengers?
Avengers.
Fantastic Four or Teen Titans?
Teen Titans.
Fantastic Four or Teen Titans Go?
Fantastic Four.
No, I think Teen Titans Go are more fun to watch.
Come on.
Would you rather watch half a season of Teen Titans Go or Fan Four Stick?
Okay, that's not fair.
Would you rather read like 3 Teen Titans Go comics or like 1 Fantastic Four comic?
1 Fantastic Four comic.
Okay, well that's a different thing. What's another superhero team? Freaking Justice Society of America.
Fantastic Four.
Really?
Yeah.
Name one cool thing one of the members of the Fantastic Four can do.
The thing is made of rocks.
So are rocks. That would be like a man who's like, I am a man made of man. Like, okay, cool.
But he's strong because he's made of rocks.
But the Hulk exists and he's cooler. And he is made of man.
It's man, made of 100% natural man.
The Fantastic Four is the dumbest and always has been the dumbest and most boring superhero team.
I think it's because they, like, they're not really antiquated. A superhero team.
I think they're just outdated. I think in terms of, like, what audiences find interesting in 2022, I think the character archetypes and the abilities that those characters had when they were made are just no longer interesting. People just aren't interested by that group anymore.
I think they're more interesting as like a sci-fi, like adventure, like Star Trek.
But they hardly ever even do that.
Not in the movies and stuff, but in the comics they do it all the time. Like, I think that's what they should do, is just have them like exploring.
Just have them be Star Trek
characters? Have them like explore other dimensions and like encounter like weird cosmic entities. And,
I mean, they kind of did that in Fan Four Stick.
They went to a gray desert planet where like they like touched some ooze.
There was green lightning and floaty rocks.
They touched some toxic ooze and then they all got powers, and then they came back at the end of the movie so they could all punch Doctor Doom.
That and their origin story is like I think maybe the laziest ever in any comic book.
It's like every single time.
Name one superhero with a lazier origin story.
Than the space cloud.
Then I was hit by space cloud.
Let's see. I mean, the Flash was just struck by lightning that gave him lightning
he's fast,
powers.
so like that at least makes sense.
It's like a little bit
What
clever.
about the ability to stretch or turn invisible has to do with space cloud?
Let's see. Superman's just an alien from space.
But like that's fine. His powers are like otherworldly. That like,
Green Lantern just found a magic ring.
That's true, but like he's cool because there's a lot of lore like around his like that culture of the rings and stuff.
I can't think of any super. Iron Man made
like
a
they
suit.
literally just got hit by a random space cloud.
I don't know. Bruce Banner injected himself with a dangerous amount of gamma radiation, and it turned him into a big green.
But he was
Hulk
trying
monster.
to recreate the like. Okay, every single other superhero has a reason why they got powers. He was trying to recreate the super soldier serum. Hal Jordan was he was like brave, and so he got the ring chose him. There are reasons why those things happen. Batman became Batman because his parents got murdered. Superman became a hero because he was, raised with traditional values and he values friendship and peace and whatever. Like, the Fantastic Four were literally just 4 dudes and one other dude who got hit with the magic space cloud. Or if anyone else was in space with them, they would also have powers. Like, there was nothing about the Fantastic Four that makes them, like, worthy or interesting to have powers. They just randomly do.
Peter Parker just happened to get bit by the spider.
Yeah, but that wasn't really his origin. That's just why he has powers.
That's true. That's not the interesting part of his origin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's why I don't like the Fantastic Four.
I would like to see them I'd like to see them try to, especially for Marvel at this point, to try to do a superhero movie that isn't like them like fighting in a big city or something.
But you know that's what they're gonna do.
I know, but I'm saying if they're gonna do what is now like the fourth different iteration of Fantastic Four, I like that. See them to do like the crazy, wacky, like '60s cosmic, big Jack Kirby space bubbles with big-headed
basically
men.
the Jetsons, but with Marvel.
Yeah, pretty much.
That
just do something weird.
I want it to stylistically be like 1960s.
And
okay, here's something I think could be interesting. I think it would be cool if maybe the movie does take place in the 70s or 60s. They get trapped in a time dimension portal
bubble
thing. People get stuck in time bubbles all the time in the Marvel universe, and then they come out in modern day.
That's what I'm saying. Put them in that quantum realm. Baby.
But then their origin story is just Captain America's origin story.
No, like they are doing a thing.
Yeah, maybe they teamed up with they teamed up with Ant-Man.
No, I said this when we talked about this on Comic-Con. I said the thing should be that Hank Pym knew Reed Richards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they,
is Hank Pym still alive in the MCU right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they got the powers. They formed a team. They did a thing that then at the end of the movie they defeat Doctor Doom, but they all get trapped in the quantum realm. And then in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp,
they pop out.
They go, "Hey, we're detecting 4 anomalies in the quantum realm," and then they go,
"What's the theme song for Fantastic Four?" They're like cartoon show that they used to have.
That was a long time.
You know how anytime they say mutants,
they didn't really.
You know how anytime they say mutants or anytime they say X-Men, they go.
I mean, the only Fantastic Four TV show I can think of was the one with Herbie.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Where they couldn't put Human Torch on screen because they were scared kids would
be scared of fire.
No, they were scared that the kids would try to light themselves on fire.
I mean, that's a valid concern.
Is it?
What was that one Marvel show where they were like all like chibi characters? They were all like small versions of themselves. Yeah, that one had like insanely complicated lore for like no reason, but the Fantastic Four were like, I remember because Herbie was in it and he was evil. There was like a big twist where he was like working for Dr.
Herbie
Doom.
was so dumb.
He's such a dumb character.
It's funny though. Okay.
Not the car, but the car's also dumb.
We gotta move
just
on.
Conceptually.
Max is now just playing on his phone in the corner of the room.
He's fine. He's texting. He's
doing hip cool
all right.
texting.
On to the next news.
Number 2, our next
surprise. Guess who's shuffling around their release dates again? It's not the Warner Bingers. It's not the Bunger Warners. It's the Warner Brothers. Discovery.
So this has been their 9,331st release date shuffle of the year.
They do one like every few minutes.
I'm just gonna read these all out. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has moved from March 2023 to December 25th, 2023. So it's coming out Christmas Day, a full year from when it was supposed to originally come out.
That way they have time to CGI
Shazam, yeah.
her face out of the movie. I'm forgetting her name.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods is being moved to March 17th, 2023. So that was supposed to come out in
that was supposed to come out
April.
this year, right? Or
It was supposed to come out in April of next year, and then they moved it up to the same weekend as Avatar this year.
Yeah.
Then they moved it back a week, and now they're moving it back to March.
I think that's the right play.
March
I think-
17th, 2023.
I think trying to go up against Avatar is suicide.
So that's about 2 weeks before the original one opened in 2018? So it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Why? Come on. That was stupid that they took that long to make that.
Yeah, because now
the one with kids in it,
the kids are too old now. They're like, they're all like in their 20s.
You got if you're doing anything with kids in it and you're gonna do sequels,
gotta do them fast.
You gotta pump them out quick. That's what they had to do with that Harry Potter stuff.
That's why Stranger Things don't look right.
They were filming them Harry Potter sequels as they were coming out. Like
that's what you got to do.
The week Harry Potter 1 came out, they were a week into shooting Harry Potter 2. Like,
and the last one, he still looked too old.
Mm-hmm. The Nun 2, which has been in the works, which has been in the works forever, is now going to release September 8th, 2023. Okay. Evil Dead Rise, which was supposed to be on HBO Max, is now going to be a theatrical release on April 21st, 2023.
Yay.
I think that's another kind of reboot, but I think it's also in continuity with the requel from 2013.
Sure.
I don't really know what that is, but it's Evil Dead, so I'll see it. House Party 6, Sam.
That's everyone's favorite.
House Party 6, which I think
is House Party 1 through 5 about?
Kid and play, host a house party.
That sounds really not interesting.
Oh, I think LeBron James is a producer on this one.
Why?
That was also supposed to come out on HBO Max. It is also now getting a theatrical release this year on December 9th, 2022.
Does this tie into the Looney Tunes Space Jam 2 series? Is it in the same universe?
Sure, why not? I mean, technically, all their IPs are hosted in the serververse with LG Rhythm.
That has got to be the lamest version of the multiverse. Like the Marvel multiverse is like so like you have to have like crazy powerful abilities to like go from universe to universe, and then the Warner Brothers universe is like, oh yeah, no, all this stuff is just in the Matrix, and they just flip around in the Matrix. I guess.
I think it would be funny if they just did endless Space Jam sequels, and they're just going into like the servers of like every corporation.
So there's like a Disney one.
Space Jam 8 is like Space Jam goes to the Citibank serververse, and they're just like
it's just money.
It's just like money and like corporate charts.
It's just like graphs.
There's no fun characters. It's just like a banking manager.
It's just like a bunch of money and those 2 chart guy characters from Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, House Party 6. That's getting a theatrical release. A Christmas Story sequel. So this is
another one.
This is the one that Peter Billingsley is coming back.
So this is the real one.
This is the one. This is the real one. Unless it sucks, and then they'll pretend.
And then it won't be the real one.
That is going to release on HBO Max on December 17th, which means
that seems like
it met their low budget requirement.
Take the sequel to one of the biggest Christmas movies ever and put that on HBO Max.
Well, okay.
And then put Shazam on Christmas Day. Or no, Aquaman. Put Aquaman on. That's a Christmas movie.
Hang on. House Party 6 is coming out December 9th.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas movie is not.
And it's going straight to video.
It's going straight to streaming. I think
so. They have 2 different holiday releases. Okay. One of which is about a guy who only swims around, definitely a summer movie.
That's next year.
And the other one is about a house party, which is also definitely summer vibes.
The Christmas Story movie is going to come out November 17th of this year.
Right.
Aquaman's not coming out Christmas of next year.
Just put it on Christmas.
Okay, but what I'm saying is how much. So their differential between HBO Max movies and theatrical movies is like they cost a certain amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much did House Party 6 cost?
Was Danny DeVito in it?
No.
Well, he should be.
Now I want to know, because like that must have met the requirement for how high the budget was.
I mean, it's got to have done something.
I haven't heard of any of these actors.
Maybe it's not doing
What
something.
is the... Why?
Is it the girl from the kissing booth again?
Nope.
Who's in it? Is it the guy from
Jacob Lattimore?
You know the guy who plays the
Tosin Soul?
You know
Tosin Cole,
the
sorry.
guy who plays the boyfriend in
that's
the
right.
kissing booth, his name is Nate, and he's in Euphoria, and in that show his name's also Nate.
Eh.
He plays two different, like, creepy boyfriends named Nate.
Bill Bellamy? Melvin Gregg?
I love Melvin Gregg.
What an all-star
His
cast.
name's Melvin. Anyone with the name Melvin, automatically cool.
It's based on the 1990 film of the same name.
I bet it is.
With Kid and Play.
Okay, anyway, next thing.
Anyway, so yeah, Christmas Story sequel coming out November 17th. They were going to call it a Christmas Story 2, but now
I
they
bet
can't.
they were.
They can't because that already exists.
Yeah, it
But
sucks.
they don't want you to remember that one. Salem's Lot. That's the remake
Of Salem's Lot.
of because they technically never made a movie of Salem's Lot. They did a.
It was just a
miniseries.
show.
It was a mini series,
Right?
episodes.
Yeah.
So it's the first movie of Salem's
Same
Lot.
way they never made a It movie, except for it was just a
that
movie.
was supposed to come out this year in Actually, it's supposed to come out next week originally, as of recording this.
And then what happened?
It got pushed back to April of next year
Oh no!
because they had issues with COVID. Now
How do you
it's
have
just
issues with COVID in 2022?
because all the protocols all the protocols are still in place.
They gotta roll those back. Too
No,
much of that.
Sam. No, that was like huge. That was a whole thing.
Yeah, they probably just got them started.
With the unions and stuff. That was
Yeah.
that was a whole thing.
Okay, but like during COVID, yeah, that makes sense. But like we're like a year past that at this point.
Because they have to just keep doing it forever.
Yeah, now the unions got to make them do all
but
that
like,
stuff.
that was supposed to come out in April. Now it's just on an undetermined date in 2023, so that will probably get delayed even further. My guess is that'll probably that'll end up in the fall though. Fall's a good place. Salem's Lot is not a spring film.
No,
That is a
I don't know
Stephen
why
King
you would.
book about an atmospheric small town in New England that gets haunted by vampires. Like that's a
Stephen
Halloween
King,
thing.
Why is everything he make insane?
It's not that
Shut up,
great.
Siri. Why is everything he make insane?
What's so insane about that?
Everything he makes is insane every time. Every time he makes the thing, it's
just
insane.
vampires.
Yeah, but they're probably like creepy pedophile.
No, they're pretty much
vampires.
just like normal vampires.
Well, vampires they eat blood. They're gross. Anyway.
No, if you want to see a thing with creepy vampires, watch Midnight Mass.
Oh.
That's vampires on a small New England island, but they're also Catholics.
That makes them special because
You gotta watch the show.
okay.
I kind of
If one of
spoiled it.
them sucks the blood of Jesus,
should
will
watch
they just
that, though.
explode?
No,
Why not?
it's a whole thing. Just watch
What are
it.
they
It's
like,
a really good
they-
show.
Okay, anyway.
They also dated an untitled event film for February 10th of 2023. I don't know what that's going to be.
Untitled event film. It's an event.
I think they also dated the Godzilla vs. Kong sequel. That's filming right now, but I don't think that's coming out till 2024. So what this means is they've pretty much wiped the slate clean on the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They have technically three films coming out. Don't Worry, Darling, which comes out in late September. Black Adam, finally, which comes out in mid-October.
Gotcha.
They just watched the final cut of that.
Finally.
They just screened that for The Rock this week.
Did he like it?
Did you see the photo of him?
No.
Here, let me pull it up and show you. It's really funny.
Here, well, I'll pull it up on the thing.
I mean, it's not hilarious, but it looks like
Well, is it not funny or is it hilarious?
it looks like Kingpin, like a meeting.
Hey, hang on.
I don't know if you can find. Can't find it on Google Images. Yeah. See if you can find it. That image of it.
Oh, it scores the same as Batgirl. That's not good.
Yeah, it's not on there. Scroll. Go to like a website and see if they have it on there. This is the engaging part of the podcast. Should be like relatively recent. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter.
Wait.
This is really good content for the audience.
Maybe this will have it. Rock's reaction.
Black
Black Adam footage reaction. Maybe.
Come on, post the photo. Post the photo.
Reload. There's
Nope,
this,
that's
there's
at
this.
Comic-Con. Dang it, I can't find it now. Well, it was funny.
well.
He was sitting at like a small table with and he was like at the front. And like everyone else, like all of the executives were like on the sides, and he's watching the movie, and he's like this huge guy, and they're all just
he's massive.
They're all like hunched over in their chairs, like just watching him watch the movie. It's like all dimly lit. It's really funny.
I hope you like it, Mr. The Rock.
Anyway, so the reason they're only releasing 2 movies for the rest of the year, and also House Party 6, is that they've lost so much money this year. They only have the money to pay for marketing campaigns for those 2 movies. So that's the reason Shazam got moved back, was literally just because they couldn't afford to market it.
All right, we got to keep going because we're running out of battery. Dan Lin, set to be the Kevin Feige of the DC universe.
Yeah, he's in talk. Okay, so DC is in final talks to hire Dan Lin,
who was he
as DC chief to oversee all future film and TV projects. I'm getting to that. He's a Hollywood mega producer. He's been working for years.
They do Fast and Furious.
He was involved in Lego movies, so that whole franchise for them, which was mildly successful.
3 of them are okay.
3 of them are good.
3 of them are good.
1 of them is bad.
1 of them's awful.
2 of them made money.
Yeah.
He did the It movies for them. Those were big. More the first one than the second one. He did the live action Aladdin for Disney.
Oh.
That was really big. And he did he's currently working on the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show for Netflix.
Oh.
He also produced the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films. He was involved in the MonsterVerse stuff for them.
He's just been doing all kinds of stuff.
He did the live action Death Note movie for Netflix also, but we're not going to talk about that. So the proposed deal with
that movie.
He didn't make it. He was just a producer on it. The proposed deal would see
He didn't say no. He should have said no.
Maybe he did and he got overshadowed by the other producers. We'll never know. But the proposed deal would see Lin report directly to Zaslav as well as he would report directly to Zaslav, the Warner Brothers CEO.
Yeah.
That's the same deal Kevin Feige has, where he
reports directly to...
He just reports straight to Chapek. The other part of the deal would be that the current DC president, Walter Hamada, would step down.
That makes sense.
Hamada's already really, really, really angry with Discovery.
You don't like them right now.
So, yeah. They were shuffling through a bunch of different people, like Greg Berlanti and a couple other guys were discussed earlier on.
Yeah, and we've given our pitches for people and stuff like that.
Lin was brought in by Alan Horn, who was the former Disney chair of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, who also ran Warner Brothers in the early 2000s. He's now like a consultant for them, and he brought the name up. Now, the reason this makes sense to me, this pick, is because of Alan Horn. If you look at Disney's track record, like they've been struggling in recent years.
Yeah.
And the there's 2 key pieces missing, Bob Iger and Alan Horn. And if you look at Warner Brothers when it was doing really well, guess who was in charge?
Alan Horn?
Alan Horn. I think people don't talk about him, but I think he is a huge part.
He's the secret
of what made
behind the curtain.
This stuff work.
Yeah.
Like the Nolan movies, I think that was like I think all the stuff has.
I mean, he's got to be a pretty big deal if he's getting this kind of job here.
If he picked this guy, I think he's going to work really well. He also was supposed to be involved with DC back in 2008 when they were working on Justice League Mortal with George Miller.
Yeah,
which got canceled because of the writer's strike and also tax conflicts. That was what was originally going to be the start of the DC cinematic universe all the way back in 2008, which was when Marvel was supposed to start. So, and that script leaked, and that's actually a pretty good script. I think he is going to work really well. Twitter is mad at him because he doesn't like the Snyder people.
Which, fair enough.
Which, good. Just let it go, dude. Yeah. All you Snyder boys, he is never coming back.
Never.
To work on DC stuff.
He's not going to do it,
They're never going to restore the Snyderverse.
It's not going to happen.
And I know your argument...
No, Snyder is gone now, guy. I'm sorry. I liked some of it, too, but it's gone now.
And their argument when you say that is always like, well, they released the Snyder Cut. Yeah, they released the Snyder Cut because we were in a global pandemic and they couldn't film new things.
They literally could not make anything.
Yeah.
All they had was their back catalog stuff that hadn't been released yet.
All the movie was already shot.
It was done. It was literally just sitting in a vault
content for HBO Max
and they knew the people would
and
watch
it wasn't as expensive to shoot the whole movie again than to just let him finish the VFX.
Yeah.
If you're going to completely restore the Snyderverse, you have to bring him back, apologize for everything you did, give him hundreds of millions of dollars to make a bunch more movies, hire all the people back who are now years older. Ben Affleck's in his 50s, guys. He's not playing Batman.
Yeah, they're not gonna go for that.
That's never happening. You have to move on. So yeah, this is a pretty good pick. I think this is a good choice. This Dan Lin fella.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
It's better than Greg Berlanti.
Definitely
I
better
don't want
than
him
Greg
in charge.
Berlanti.
I don't want him in charge of the CW stuff.
Well, he should stay in charge of the CW stuff. Just let him have his little play area. He can do whatever he wants over there.
Berlanti.
Anyway, moving on. Discussion question of the day: who should direct Avengers: Secret Wars?
Sam, I have a pick, but you have a pick?
I can make one while you're pitching your pick.
So, I was looking at guys who have directed stuff for Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know who's not going to do it. It's not going to be the Russos. Kevin Feige said no. It's not going to be Destin Daniel Cretton because he's going to do Kang Dynasty at the same time.
Yeah.
He's not going to do both.
He could do both. They do it the same way they did Infinity War.
No, they've said like they're looking to have him do one and then someone else do the other. Because I think what they're planning on doing is like, it's because it's always that one. It's always a giant group of like the same actors, right? Is like half the cast is shooting one movie while the
other half
the
is doing
same
the other
day.
one.
They're
Yeah,
shooting
that makes sense.
So like, it's not going to be him. It's not going to be any director that did like the first movie or the second movie in a series, but then didn't come back for the sequel.
Yeah,
right?
because then why would they?
You're not going to get what's his face from Joe Johnston, right?
Mhm.
Who directed the first Captain America.
Yeah,
He's not going to come back and do this. I also don't think they're going to hire any of their indie filmmakers, like any of those people that
have those.
no, like any of those people that they scoop up, like that made like one small movie that people really liked, and then they force them into the studio system so that they can control every one of the creative decisions. And it's also not going to be anyone who made a movie that's going to come out right before that because they'll be busy with that movie and they won't be able to work on it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be Matt Shackman who's doing Fantastic Four relatively close to then. It's not going to be Nia DaCosta who's doing the Marvels. It's not going to be I can't remember what their other movie for 2024 is.
Yeah, some
Thunderbolts, I think. It's not going to be any of those people. Now, Secret Wars is going to be coming out in 2025, right?
Yeah.
Which will be no.
And Marvel tends to be pretty good with their release dates. They usually come out when
17 years from the start of the MCU. That's when it's going to come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
For all intents and purposes, it's probably the finale. Like they're not
something. I mean that's what
it has
that's
to be
what
at least
that's what
kinda.
Endgame was though.
Yeah. But like, what
they're gonna keep making them.
they're gonna keep making them, but like they'll never like. There's nothing else that's bigger than that.
There's Galactus.
But Galactus isn't as big as Secret Wars.
Not the event, but this isn't gonna be the real Secret Wars. This is gonna be as much Secret Wars as Civil War was Civil War. There's no way that they can handle as film as a medium. I don't think has the capacity in this current age to sustain that kind of story.
With what they are setting up, it looks like they're gonna do multiverse incursion Secret Wars, right?
That's what they've set up so far.
So they can't do just 80 Secret Wars where they all just go to a battle planet and punch each other for an hour.
No, they were that was never going to be.
They have to do at least something resembling universes collapsing into one another and a million characters showing up. And also, like, I think after Secret Wars, no one's going to care. Whether or not they bring the X-Men back or Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man comes back from the dead, I do not... This will really feel like the end.
Yeah.
So I think they should bring back Jon Favreau. He directed the first Iron Man. He can do these big studio pictures.
I don't think they would do that.
I think they should bring back Jon Favreau to do Secret Wars.
Uh-oh. Camera messed up.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Keep talking.
What'd you do?
It's good. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Is it only going to show you now? Did we
No,
lose
it's
all the
only...
footage?
No. It's fine. There we go. Okay, it's back.
Okay, I get my pick, Jon Favreau.
I don't know if he can do that.
Why?
I think it's too big of a thing.
Destin Daniel Cretton's doing Kang Dynasty. That's going to be comparably the same size.
No, but that's like one villain. This is like multiverses are ending and everyone's here and it's all going down.
Yeah, well, but okay, then who do you think could handle it?
Because, see, I only think the Russo brothers were able to do Endgame and Infinity War because there's two of them. That took two guys to do that.
So you think it should be a team again?
I think that might be beneficial. I don't know who could do that kind. Again, I don't know what kind of scale they're going to be going for.
It's gonna have to be real big.
But yeah, it's going to have to be huge. And that kind of story just doesn't. It's hard to pick someone to do that because it's gonna be nuts. It's going to be an insane task.
Well, who's your pick? Throw a name out.
I don't know. Quentin Tarantino. He'll do it. They'll all be smooth talking, and then they'll kill one dude at the end, and no one will know what happened.
That would be the funniest thing to happen in the history of cinema.
You know what? Who's the
if they You know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm going with Quentin Tarantino. What I want them to do is 16 years of build up as family-friendly superhero content.
And they just go nuts.
On year 17, movie 45,
everyone died.
Hard R.
Boobs everywhere.
F-bombs every second. Everyone's naked.
Deadpool's just whipping his penis around.
Just horrible, gory, bloody violence.
Kill Bill's there for some reason.
A vile piece of filmmaking. And that's the finale.
That's the finale of the MCU.
Like, people are showing this to their kids years on, and they're just like, we cannot watch the last one. We have to burn all the copies of it. It's disgusting. Like, that's what I want.
What's the guy who did Spy Kids?
Robert
Rodriguez. Get him to do it.
Get him to do it.
He'll do a great job.
It'll feel like a 4-hour toy commercial.
Yeah, because that's what all his movies feel like.
Why? Why do people keep hiring Robert Rodriguez?
Because his first movie was cool. The one he made on when he was in high school. And so now everyone just keeps giving him more stuff to do.
We're like, yeah, you can do the Star Wars TV show.
But yeah, alrighty. That's that one. We got to move on because we're running out of battery here. Your recommended news. Got to do this one quick.
Well, you can just end now if we're running.
No, we got battery left.
How much battery?
We got 16%.
Okay. So I was gonna bring a recommendation this week, but I'll save it for next week because
this isn't gonna be relevant next week.
I thought this was funny.
Just do it now. It's
so
not
I'm
gonna
do a
news
news instead of a recommendation. So this week, Chris Rock I think he was doing a stand-up set somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked and he said that the Oscars had reached out to him to ask him to host next year's Oscar ceremony.
Yeah.
And in case you need a refresher, at the last
one didn't go so good for Chris Rock.
The last Oscars, he presented an award in which he got slapped on live television and cussed out in front of millions
for the world to see.
In front of millions of people, and became what will probably go down as the most viral moment in the history of the ceremony.
In the history of television,
that got Will Smith, one of the most famous actors on the planet, banned from attending
for
the
like
awards
10 years.
The same night he received an award from them.
For the first time.
Mm-hmm. And he compared being asked to do it like asking Nicole Brown Simpson to go back to the restaurant where she left her eyeglasses before she got killed.
See, okay, I think that is a little bit much.
Little bit of an exaggeration.
But he was doing like a sketch, I'm assuming.
But also, what idiot at ABC
Why would you...
went, you know who we should ask?
Here's exactly what the thought process was.
Like, okay.
We feel bad that he got slapped last time he came.
Uh-huh.
So we'll give him the honor of being the host this year as an apology. That's what the thought process was. I guarantee it.
As an apology, we're going to give you weeks and weeks of work and make you present again in front of other people.
No, I guarantee you that's what they were thinking.
That's
It's dumb, but that's what the thought process was.
Does that show work better without a host?
No, the show doesn't work at all without a host.
It doesn't work generally.
It just is bad. Just generally speaking, it's boring.
It needs to be
pedantic.
It needs to be.
It's snooty. It's snobby. What's the word I'm looking for? The one about
snootish.
No.
Sophisticated.
No, it's like pompous. It's like it's very pompous and very self-righteous.
Narcissistic.
That too.
The Oscar should just be 1 hour. It should be a guy in a suit who's not even like an actor. He should just go up. He should just read the winner. Who like someone represent? It can be like the director or whoever it is. But like that's all who's there.
Yeah.
The only people there should be the people nominated. There shouldn't be comedy bits. Nobody should be going up to sing a song or do a dance. We're not going to do a in memoriam section where people dance to upbeat Spirit in the Sky covers while they're showing photos of the dead people.
Yeah, it's weird.
They don't
do that in any other
We're not
industry.
going to slap people on the live television. We're not going to give awards to. We're not going to have Twitter vote on categories. We're just going to give them a gold statue that they can leave in the taxi cab when they ride home. And then we're gonna be done with it. That should be the whole thing.
It's just not a good thing. It just sucks. All right. What are my news? Right. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. House of the Dragon is losing one of its showrunners for season 2.
Whoa.
And they're being replaced with Alan Taylor, who was one of the producers of Game of Thrones.
Was he already working on season 1?
No. He's coming back from
they lost
on it at all.
Did they just have one this first season?
They have 2 showrunners.
And they're both leaving.
One's leaving and getting replaced with this guy.
Oh, okay. So there's still going to be 2. One of them is being replaced.
Yeah, they're just replacing one of them with Alan Taylor.
I wonder why that is. That's weird.
Yeah, after 1 season, they've been developing this show for 3 years.
And it's a big hit. Like it's doing really well.
Yeah, there's something going on. You don't step down as showrunner of the biggest show in America after you've been developing it for 3 years. After 1 season. That's not a normal thing.
It's already been renewed for a 2nd season. Each episode costs $20 million.
That makes sense. I think that's double the cost of Game of Thrones also, which is weird because they're like basically the same in quality.
Do we know which
They're
one?
reusing like half the sets too. Like all the castles are the same castles.
They reusing the same CG models?
Well, the dragons are different dragons.
Ooh.
That is one thing I actually do like about this one is the dragons actually have like distinct characteristics. Like the bad guy's dragon is red and it has a real like long neck and it's sort of snake-like and it makes like a sort of a whining noise. Whereas like the main character's dragon is sort of like yellow and a little bit more like sort of what you would expect from like traditional sort of dragon sort of looking thing.
So according to this, Miguel Sapochnik, I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. Is stepping down as the showrunner. This is apparently because he is exhausted from developing the show for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he got it off the ground, and then as soon as it launched, quit and went home.
Nah, too tired.
So the other showrunner, Ryan Condal, is going to be the sole showrunner moving forward. Alan Taylor, who worked on the original Game of Thrones, is coming on as an executive producer and is going to direct multiple episodes of season 2.
Yeah, it says he's going to help with the workload.
So he's going to come in and essentially be the other showrunner.
Yeah.
That's strange. There's something else going on here.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's whack. All right. I think that's all the news.
I think that's all for this week.
For this weekend, we have 10% battery left.
Next week is going to be another slow week because there's nothing happening. But then the week after... We haven't
gone to the theater in like a month and a half.
The Spider-Man re-release comes out this weekend.
Why are they re-releasing Spider-Man?
To make up for the money Morbius lost.
Makes sense.
Then they're trying to cross $2 billion.
That makes us...
Although it's National Cinema Day on Saturday.
Yeah, it's $3 tickets.
$3 tickets.
But I'm also working. So.
We can go in the
We could go in the morning.
Go in the morning.
Anyway,
so nothing really going on next week as far as we know. But 2 weeks from now,
mm-hmm.
Disney Plus Day. And there's supposed to be and D23. So there's supposed to be a lot of news, and
big
also
announcements that day.
there's gonna be something coming out. I forget what. Pinocchio. We'll talk about
Oh
Pinocchio.
God, no! That movie looks so
And,
bad.
We're not talking about She-Hulk yet. We're gonna talk about She-Hulk.
We'll talk about it when it wraps because there's literally just nothing.
When it wraps, or whenever Daredevil shows up, whenever we feel it's necessary to talk about it.
Yeah, because right
Whenever
now
I have
there's
any-
literally nothing.
When I
going on
have
the show.
any thoughts on that show at all, maybe we'll talk about it.
Right now, our thoughts can generally be summed up as, "Yep, I finished watching that."
You know, it's a quality television program when you forget you watched it 30 minutes.
It's like
after you
watching
did
an
so.
episode of The Office. Like you don't remember which
Like
episode you watched.
like a season 8 episode of The Office.
Yeah, you're just like, I guess I just watched
And you're
that.
just like, okay.
All right.
I didn't really laugh a whole lot, but I didn't turn it off.
I wasn't upset by it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your watching YouTube or whatever you're in the middle of.
Morning, middle of the day.
Shopping at Walmart, whatever you're doing.
Listening to us
while
on
you're
the
listening to
toilet.
us.
We're fine with all of that. If you want to put us on in the background while you go walk your dog, that's fine too. Do whatever you want. As long as we're on. If you're sleeping, turn us on and then turn the volume down and then go to
Hit
sleep.
the loop button. Give
And
us
then
those
just
views.
let us play in the background. Get those views.
All right, you can watch us on all the podcast platforms, all the Spotify's, Apple things.
You can
Not watch us. You know what I mean.
You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and Spotify, wherever you get
all
your
the
audio
podcast
podcasts.
places.
The video of the podcast is available on
Only on YouTube.
on youtube.com/McDoncast, and it's also now available on Spotify. So
it is?
You can watch the podcast on Spotify now.
That seems like a pain to upload.
I mean, it just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, but that's like a significantly longer.
It's fine.
This file is going to be like 40 gigs.
Yeah, no, it does take a while, but you just leave it running in the background.
Okay. Anyway,
You upload.
you can
Yeah.
follow Tucker on what do you do? Twitter, I guess.
Don't follow me on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter at McDon Media. Follow us on Instagram. We don't ever use
We
it.
don't use it, but we're
follow
on
us
there.
too. And check me out
You're
on
already
Twitch,
on the Twitch.
Streaming pretty much every day, 12 to 3
We'll see you
a.m. Central Standard Time.
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You should go back.